All right, happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time watching, this is a weekly live stream I do every Friday, chatting with different experts in SSI, decentralized identity, global payments, whatever that is related to TBD, so that we can get a better understanding of our ecosystem and just learn about the different projects that are going on. I'm super excited today because we're going to kind of talk about using and leveraging decentralized identifiers and verifiable credentials for Wi-Fi. I don't know all of the details, but from what I've read, it helps to make Wi-Fi more global and passwordless. So I'm excited to learn about that. But before we do, I wanted to quickly ask you. So I usually ask a couple of icebreaker questions, Jeffrey. I don't prep you for them, but just to liven up the conversation. So my first one was like, what was your dream job growing up?
Hey, hey, thanks for having me. It's nice to be with you, and that's actually a pretty cool video you got to start there. I hadn't seen that before, so that was neat.
Thank you.
Um, Dream job growing up. Well, I'm Canadian. We're based in Canada, so growing up small town Canadian, being a hockey player was probably one of the options. Other than that, I remember I was really into space as a kid. I thought astronaut obviously would be the ideal career path. Didn't quite happen that way. But yeah, I've always been very tech focused,
Ambitious.
innovation focused. Yeah,
Okay.
into that type of stuff.
That's awesome. No, I like that. I like that. Like astronaut's a cool one, hockey player, but I don't think you ended up in a bad place at all. You're in an awesome spot. And then other icebreaker question, and I asked this to the audience as well if you want to answer. What is and someone asked, oh hey Daryl, thanks for tuning in. You're not too early or too late. You're just on time. We just started. The other question to the audience and to you, Jeffrey, is like, what's the longest you've gone without Wi-Fi? It's a hard one to think of, but I don't know. I can talk while
I
you're thinking. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's really interesting is it just shows you how ubiquitous and important Wi-Fi is in our everyday lives today that we somewhat just take it for granted. But it's pretty incredible technology. I do remember I did a long, backpacking trip in 2000 and 4 and 5, so about 20 years ago. I remember that through Asia, and it was still the time when you had to go and pay by the hour at the internet cafe to email people back home and stuff. So finding Wi-Fi back then was this real treasure hunt in a lot of ways. And then between now and then, it's always been a thing when you're traveling. Where's the closest Starbucks? Where's somewhere with a good Wi-Fi connection? And we hope in the future that is just Rome. Rome is that global network of Wi-Fi that's always available and close to you and of good quality.
Cool. I'm excited to hear more about Rome. I guess I'll say mine really quickly, and then I'll let you introduce yourself. The longest I've seen people in Discord. We also stream to Discord. Someone said 30 minutes unintentionally. I'm pretty sure I went like two or 3 weeks without Wi-Fi. It was awful. Like you just said, I didn't realize how important Wi-Fi was in my life. But basically, I had moved houses, and I know everyone's like, "Oh, I call Xfinity beforehand." Yes, I did all that. Xfinity came, and I didn't realize. I don't know what this box is called, but there's like a green box by houses, and like I don't know, I forget what it was called, but that's what
Mm,
helps like the internet providers be able to connect to your house. Since my house is a new build, it didn't have that, and the
mm,
builders didn't tell me that. I don't know. I never bought a house before, so I had to call the city. Then they had to make the green box. Then they had to install it. Then the Comcast people had to come back. So it was like 2 weeks of me just sitting there twiddling my thumbs. It was awful. All right.
mm.
So
Yeah.
since that long story, let's go ahead. Before I ask you about yourself and everything, I'm just gonna remind people about the KCC hackathon that's going on very quickly, and then we'll dive into who you are and what you do, Jeffrey. So let's check it out.
Imagine a world where your customers can transact across payment apps without the hassle of repeated identity verification checks. Try it out for yourself in the Known Customer Credential Challenge. Step 1. Become an issuer by using the Web5 SDK to create a decentralized identifier in a decentralized web node. Step 2. Issue Alice a known customer credential confirming you've already verified her identity. She can now transact with you without repeated verification. Step 3. Store Alice's credential in her decentralized web node, allowing her to securely present it from any tbdevs-enabled payment app. With $5,000 in prizes up for grabs, now's the perfect time to showcase your skills. Submit your entry by November 4th for a chance to win big. Ready to get started? Visit bit.ly/KCC-challenge to learn more and join the hackathon. Happy hacking!
Okay, cool. Now, without further ado, I want to kind of understand your journey into getting into decentralized identity and into, I guess, like Wi-Fi connectivity. I feel like those are two maybe not as popular technologies or things that people immediately think of diving into. So I'm curious how you got into that.
Yeah, for sure. My co-founder was the one with a long telecom background, so working over a decade in telecom and the Wi-Fi industry. So it's really his experience there that initially highlighted the gap in the problem that we're trying to solve. My background was originally in in crypto and in Bitcoin originally, and that's how I met my co-founder. We had worked on projects previously. But yeah, so the experience in those domains of Web3 and telco led us to understanding this problem with deploying roaming like Wi-Fi globally. And it's a bit of an interesting thing because when you talk about Wi-Fi roaming, that in itself is a little bit a hard topic for people. Um, when you talk about roaming, we just assume SIM card, traveling overseas, very expensive bills. But but there is the tech stack and the possibility of creating a roaming-like experience through Wi-Fi, where if you were at home and you went to a local coffee shop and then the library and then a hotel, it would automatically connect. You'd never have to put a password in. It's fully secure. It's certificate based, and it's just a way better Wi-Fi experience. So this technology is out there. It's just not widely adopted. It's adopted within confined ecosystems. So within one enterprise, within one company, you could go between buildings, etc. Within one university. And actually, the best example of what we're trying to build globally is the university system called Edarome, where your login credentials for Wi-Fi at your school work at other schools around the world, and that's been out there for over a decade. Um, so so yeah, that's where it all came from originally with my co-founder having the telecom background, and then him and me both working in Web3 together and Bitcoin together.
Interesting. So you guys kind of like combined both of your skill sets and interests to be able to
Yeah,
come up with this. I don't know much about Wi-Fi. I almost put down the question of like how exactly does Wi-Fi work? But like I
yeah.
was like maybe I don't know if that'll take too long to explain or that's too complicated. Any chance you
I'll,
want to
I'll
take a stab at it?
I'll just start with saying what we aren't, and then that gives context to what we are. So
Okay.
the one thing we aren't solving for at this immediate time is we're not an ISP. So your house or your business still needs an internet connection. So you still have to like have that cable coming in your home with internet access that you plug into a router. Then once you have internet, our focus for Roam right now is creating this global roaming seamless experience for the Wi-Fi connection itself. So that's the focus there. We're adding on a mobile component coming out very soon through an eSIM offering, just to add like an option for connectivity between Wi-Fi spots. But yeah, just to define where we're working is within the authentication to access an internet system through Wi-Fi. That's the part, not the ISP part, which other companies are working on. distributed versions.
Okay, that's fair. Thanks for that clarification then. And I'm also curious, like, what sparked the idea? Like, I know you said your co-founder was in telecom, and then you're in like this like blockchain-ish, Bitcoin-ish area. But like, what when were you guys like, oh my God, what if we made this company? Like, what made you guys say that?
Yeah, so it was a few different things. So just for context, on the Wi-Fi side, there's a couple organizations globally who are pushing Wi-Fi adoption and standards, and the main one for adoption and use is called the WBA, the Wireless Broadband Alliance. Under the W, and it's a members. Its membership is generally the largest telcos in the world and largest tech companies like Cisco and big networking companies. Under the WBA, they actually have an official goal to create this roaming like Wi-Fi network globally. It's called Open Roaming. And so this initiative has been out there. The backbone of that technology, Passpoint, was actually donated to the WBA from Cisco, I think in 2021. And so that's the foundation for the goal of the Wi-Fi side of creating this global roaming network. Because what's interesting here is that from the telco standpoint, you can ask, okay, why did they care about this? But long term, the telcos actually want to utilize Wi-Fi more and more to offload data and to backhaul data, especially if in indoor and highly dense environments like urban environments. So as we've gone from 3G cell phones, 4G cell phones, and 5G cell phones, and onward, we have more performance and quicker and more data, but that technology has a harder time infiltrating through concrete and dense environments. And so what that happens is in a city or in an indoor environment, you need a lot more towers or like stations for the 5G network. So they actually want to use Wi-Fi as a way to backhaul more data. So this is a long-term, decade long or more goal of the telcos is to build out these very high performing, secure Wi-Fi networks that they can then backhaul and utilize the data for. So that's the goal of the telco side. And then it was the understanding of that goal with, you know, the inspiration of seeing things like Helium. So Helium coming to market, using Web3 and token incentives to deploy a very impressive network globally on the IoT side. Unfortunately, the technology itself, LoRa, the demand side just never really came. So they've thus switched now to a mobile strategy. But yeah, just the inspiration of how they built that supply side of the network was a part of it, and then combining that with the actual goals of the WA and BA and the telcos to achieve this global roaming network.
That's so like one thing you said about like in urban areas, like it's harder for the connectivity to reach through like concrete and stuff like that. I had no clue of that. That's really interesting.
Mm.
Um, and a couple of people had just some questions in the chat. Well, not questions, or just some comments, just to highlight for others that can't see. So someone asked, or Austin asked, does Roam have a website? We highlighted it here, weroam.xyz, and we'll probably add it in the near the end. But Austin also mentioned like Amazon has tried to do something similar called Amazon Sidewalk, but the goal is to help IoT devices have more coverage. Roam seems to be more targeted towards mobile devices. And then they also mentioned like they're curious to learn how you all preserve privacy, control bandwidth, and pay individual providers for their services used. Those are some of the questions I did write down. So I'm curious. I don't know if are you comfortable to answer this question right now, or would you want to take a little
Well,
beat before you
I
do?
can just mention thing around IoT.
Okay.
IoT is super interesting because it was originally using LoRa type networks like Helium, but it has recently started adopting a lot more mobile and even Wi-Fi based IoT devices. So we see Wi-Fi as playing a very strategic role in the future for IoT devices, and not only in its capabilities today, but there's actually some very exciting future capabilities of Wi-Fi coming. One of which is called Wi-Fi Halo, which uses the 900 megahertz bandwidth for Wi-Fi, and which means longer distance and more penetration of walls, etc. So this could be a very big thing in the future for IoT networks itself. So us building a large scale Wi-Fi network will have big implications for IoT devices long term as well.
Okay, that's fair. And then my other question to you is, I think like when I go on the website, it talks about it being passwordless, and you're like using a passwordless system and using DIDs. Like, do you know how that all works together? Like, is it that the user, instead of putting in their password, they're putting in their decentralized identifier? Like, how that part work?
Yeah. So when I can show do you want me to show the video now or the demo, or we can do it later?
Explain
We can do
first,
it
and
later.
then we'll do
Yeah, I'll
it in a
explain
second.
first because it's quick, the video. As soon as a new user registers or signs up, we automatically create them a DID. So that part is all automated for the user. Ultimately, we want this app to be, as simple as possible, available to all retail users, enabled and empowered by Web3, but over time, kind of, you know, um, put that complexity to the back. Right now, it is quite Web3 focused because our initial user base and growth strategy and everything is through Web3. But it will become more normie or retail over time. So that's part of it too, is automatically creating a DID. And then the Wi-Fi credentials for open roaming and for our system are automatically tied to that DID. And then the idea is that or the way it works is that if you ever touch one of our networks, our compatible nodes, that process of verifying your Wi-Fi connection and the DID is an automatic, seamless process. It's certificate based for security, and from the user standpoint, they don't do anything; it just automatically connects.
Okay, that makes sense. That's a nice seamless experience, kind of like when people sign up for Blue Sky or something like that. They don't know that they have a DID under the hood, but that's what's really going on. And then
Yeah,
another thing that I wanted to ask about, before you should actually show the demo, is the use of verifiable credentials, because I know that you all use that as well.
yeah.
Is that for security purposes? How is that all working?
Yeah, that's the Wi-Fi access credential for us.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we have a DID is identifies that, anonymous, pseudonymous, or identified user, and then the VC is what gives the access to the Wi-Fi systems through our systems.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then we're going to go into the demo. I'm going to do like a quick commercial break if I can find. For some reason, my mouse has disappeared. If I can find my mouse. But in the meantime, I guess while I'm searching for it, I guess I can ask you another question. And perhaps I can just ask you very quickly. Oh my God. Oh, there's my mouse. I found it. Never mind. Let's jump into the DID quiz very quickly for the audience so people can participate if they want in the comments. Feel free to answer. And in that meantime, Jeffrey, that'll give you some time to share your screen so
Mm,
that there's
okay.
no wait in between. Cool. we're back. Actually, I don't know if you're curious to answer this question that came from Austin, which says like, why did you go the Web3 and did route before we dive into the demo? In my opinion, the biggest benefits of DIDs is that they're portable. What, if anything, is portable between Roam and other providers trying to accomplish similar global networks? Could be a hard question, so you can be like,
I'm not sure if I heard it all.
oh,
So maybe repeat it. Sorry.
yeah, sorry. And it's also on the screen. I highlighted
Oh,
it, but it says,
I just
why did,
I just have the demo open right now.
okay, cool. How about I save it? We'll save it for after. Just
Okay.
thought it was an interesting question. Let's see the
Okay.
demo.
Can you guys see this screen now?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So here's just a quick screen recording we did of the app demo. So when the user starts, as I mentioned, they would create a new wallet. Automatically, the DID is created, and then a part of this is we install our Wi-Fi open roaming credential. We give the option to back up a wallet internally. They can name their wallet. And that's it. They're up and running. And so you already have a DID and your credentials to access Wi-Fi. So this is just clicking through the app, um, finding different locations around Vancouver, around where you are. We have a gamified quest feature, so to promote growth. This is our check-in feature. So this is an active process of ensuring that the internet is good and available. And in exchange, you earn rewards. We can discuss this after. Um, so this is connecting with the same credentials and same VC and DID. You're connecting to a new Roam Wi-Fi. So that's it, as if you went to a new cafe or a new location.
cool.
And then this would be if you went to a cafe and you didn't have Roam installed or anything. This would be the the captive portal that would pop up to push you towards downloading. We used to be called MetaBlocks Roam, and then getting started. So I just wanted to highlight that. Um, yeah,
Cool.
quick
Oh, and
demo
that
there.
makes sense. I wasn't sure if you, because I was like, maybe it's Roam by MetaBlocks. I saw both when I go on the website. Cool. Awesome. Then that was the full demo.
That we did it quick for you. So
Awesome.
that's the demo from the user side. We also have
Cool.
a demo for I can do a demo also of registering a miner, but that's a little bit
It's okay.
more. Yeah.
We could dive into the questions really quickly, and I'll repeat the one that was asked from Austin. And there's another question as well that's pretty long from someone in Discord. So mentally prepare yourself. All right. So Austin said, why did you go the Web3 DID route? In my opinion, the biggest benefit of DIDs is that they're portable. What, if anything, is portable between Roam and other providers trying to accomplish similar global networks?
Mm. So we went the Web3 DID route to, as I explained, to solve that existing Web2 problem of open roaming adoption. But how are you going to do that in a decentralized, DPIN, distributed capex way? So the DID is a very convenient way for us and our users to basically self-host those credentials. That was the main reason we went for it versus the traditional way to access open roaming would be through a username and password or a SIM-based certificate. So by doing it the DID VC route, it just really decentralizes it, allows users to hold it on their own device, and creates a more distributed possibilities with it. So it wasn't really about, it wasn't really having the DID be able to use elsewhere, although that's an interesting idea. I think for us, it's also a major component of it is also just privacy. So if you have a static login that's tied to you, and you travel through the world and Wi-Fi and stuff, there's a lot of data there, and there's a lot of location data. There's a lot of unique data. So like we never see the web traffic. It's all encrypted and secure. I'm just talking about like the places you connect to, the Wi-Fi you connect to. And so having that tied to a DID that can be anonymous to the anonymous and or be wiped at any time. So at any given time, you could just create a new DID and preserve your privacy. So that's another very big component of it, of the advantage of a DID in the sense of something that has, that unique location data.
Okay, so it's more for privacy preservation. Well, that's one part of it for you. Okay,
Added to it, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
cool. And then, okay, this is going to be the long question. I'm trying to separate it by parts because it's a
Okay.
paragraph. So Andre said, suppose I want to integrate Rome's Wi-Fi network with our indoor positioning system here in Brazil, which at some extent leverages APs. I'm not
Mm.
familiar with whatever an AP is.
Yeah, access point for Wi-Fi. So like a router, an access point.
Oh, cool. I'm learning so much about Wi-Fi. Cool. And I just wanted to make sure it was known for other people as well. And
Yep.
then that said, what considerations should be taken into account when collaborating with vendors providing location, beacon, sensors, and access points? So that's part one of the question.
Okay.
So
Um,
answer that.
what considerations? I'm not sure what he means by considerations with vendors. So
Yeah.
if anybody is deploying a lot of Wi-Fi networks or APs in interesting locations, we would love to talk. We'd love to look into places to collaborate.
Okay.
Essentially, by joining our network and being a part of like the Roam global ecosystem, it would just add more value or capabilities to the people who access that network, as well as there is also the token that will be coming soon, and earning rewards for the data for the amount of traffic that those APs or nodes would have. So that would be, we're always looking for different sort of Wi-Fi deployers for partnerships. So it sounds like they're doing it as a positioning system, which is interesting. So that's actually, there's a lot of capabilities of Wi-Fi signals, actually analyzing the way the signals bounce off things and stuff in the environment to position signal people and things. So I think that's what he's talking about.
Okay, cool. I'm literally like very ignorant to anything Wi-Fi, so I can't confirm or clarify either. And then this is part two of their question. They said, how can we ensure compatibility? Maybe you've already even answered this, kind of in your first question, but how can we ensure compatibility with open roaming Wi-Fi access points while maintaining high standards of accuracy and performance environments, such as large malls or airports?
Um, I'm not sure exactly how to answer that. So open roaming itself is an open standard, so all the documentation and details are available. So I would just advise you to check out that through the WBA, see how that could be incorporated in. I don't know I don't know if it would affect you on the positioning side, if that's the concern. If it's around maintaining your existing system's ability to analyze positioning and have open roaming. Open roaming itself is like a login credentialization part of it. It's not looking at the other data that's coming. So that's, I'm
Ooh,
not exactly sure other than that how to answer it.
that's okay. I would love to look into the open roaming standard just to see what's there. I like looking at specs. And then this is like the last part of their question. They were wondering if they can bring, like you said, that the app creates a DID method for you. Is it possible to leverage your tool but bring your own DID method rather than like using whatever DID method Roam gives?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Right now, it's all automated. It's our system that does it automatically and creates it. But in the future, that it is a good idea to potentially integrate other DID methods.
Okay. And then this one is an easy one. They also asked afterwards, how can they reach out to you to ask more questions?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just Jeffrey at weroam.xyz. Reach out anytime.
Let me put that up. Xyz. So yeah, if you, I hope I even spelled your name right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so if you all have more questions and want to reach out, the email is jeffrey@weroam.xyz. I had a couple other questions, I guess. Um, but now that I kind of understand how Rome works a little bit more, I'm wondering which ones of these are relevant. Okay, so I guess I'm curious what will happen if like the internet goes down in a specific area? Is that reflected in your application? Does the did systems does your app still work? Like I don't know. How does it affect Rome? Or does it not affect it at all?
If the internet goes down?
Like in that specific area.
Yeah, like if there's no internet connection, then our router and our Wi-Fi system also can't solve for that. So you'd still be connected to the system, but the system wouldn't have internet.
Okay.
That's also a part of us adopting a mobile eSIM strategy as well. Is for this redundancy. So in that case, our solution, once that's fully implemented, you would have potentially the backup there to utilize the eSIM. And so yeah, yeah, that's that part.
How long have you all been doing this? I'm curious. Like how new is this or how I know that you said it's like 10 years in the making through like the industry, but like
Mm.
how long like Rome slash Metablocks been implementing this?
Yeah, so we've been working on it for over 3 years now. So we started in late 2021, got the company started, got working on it. It took uh, building the new way of using DIDs within the open roaming standard took a while to get everything working properly. And then the second big hurdle for us was also getting it all to work properly on all types of mobile devices. So
Oh,
especially on the Android side, all the different manufacturers, your ability to put the Wi-Fi certificate in, that took quite a bit of time and a lot of engineering. So we spent a significant amount of time on that. But yeah, over 3 years, and now we've had a lot of momentum at the moment, and growing quickly. So
that's so exciting. I'm glad for you all's growth. And I'm also curious, are there any like specific regions or area countries or whatever that have been adopting Rome more than others? And if so, like why? I'm just curious.
yeah, we've got a lot of global adoption. So we have an Explorer on our website where you can actually see it. But specifically, I'll just highlight a few. South Korea for us has been a huge growth center ever since we announced, especially an investment from Samsung. The South Korea market just exploded. Other ones that are very interesting, Nigeria is a very big market for us. Lots of hotspots. Um, and then the U.S., Canada, yeah, and all over Asia. So it is quite global. But the one thing I'll note here is there's a lot of growth in emerging markets. So I think sometimes we can get a little bit, uh, we take for granted our Wi-Fi access here in the West.
Yeah.
In places like Vancouver, my cell phone 5G access is very good, but emerging markets, the value of a very good internet connection can't be overstated. So in these places, I think Rome will play a big part.
Yeah, that was actually, I think that kind of ties into my next question then. I was going to ask like how does this help to bridge like digital divides? Because I know like we think very like maybe North American centric. You said you're in Canada, like right? You said we have access to Wi-Fi everywhere. We're like chilling, but we're not thinking about the other countries and areas and other people. So yeah, any other expansion or thoughts on how your tooling helps bridge the digital divide?
For sure. Yeah, like the Roam and the seamless Wi-Fi access components of it, of open roaming, is a huge convenience boost here, security boost here in Vancouver in the West as well. Um, but yeah, the ability for somebody, say with a small business in an emerging market, to have a robust internet connection, offer Wi-Fi free to their customers, and earn rewards for doing so is interesting. And so that just opens up new opportunities for advertising, for different ways to get people to visit their business. But yeah, just generally any way that we can get people to invest in deploying more connectivity is part of it, and that's part of our goal too. Is that the Wi-Fi industry broadly is going through these very large upgrade cycles. So we have 2.4 and 5 and these different gigs and different Wi-Fi standards. Now we're heading into Wi-Fi 6 and 7. So there's these big upgrade cycles globally that allow for new security and better features and better capabilities. And so how do you incentivize people to go through that upgrade cycle? How do you incentivize them to get the new hardware necessary? So that's another component of Roam as well, is layering in that incentivization layer through the token, where the value of the network is shared with the actual people deploying the network. So that helps as well in incentivizing the build out of quality connectivity.
Whoa, I really want to look into Wi-Fi now. I didn't know that there's all these different layers to it. That's cool. I mean, it makes sense that like there'll be upgrades to like Wi-Fi 7. I don't know. I just never thought of it that way. And that makes sense as it being something to incentivize people. And then maybe my last question to you around this is like, I think people might be so used to like entering a password for accessing Wi-Fi and stuff like that. How do you like build trust within the user experience? Like, how do you make sure that users like, okay, I feel like safe using this? I know there's a lot of privacy aspects to it, but I don't know if users really always understand how like DIDs work and all of that behind the scenes.
Yeah, so I think that's also, it's probably it's probably mostly an educational thing too. So not just DIDs and the privacy and security that those give you, but also combining that with the latest Wi-Fi standards of Open Roaming and Passpoint, which is enterprise grade certificate based security for Wi-Fi. So and what we're really competing against is, even today, if I go down to the coffee shop by my house here, I walk in and the password for the Wi-Fi is taped to the muffin rack the side. So it's either that or a very simple captive portal, but most small businesses don't have the infrastructure to deploy those. And so we're actually offering those businesses as good security as enterprise uses, as telcos use to back all data. It's all certificate based. It's sort of the latest security standards, and that's a huge advantage of our system over existing methods. But to answer your question, it will be an educational thing, of letting the user know that this is part of it.
Yeah, no, I love that. Thank you. And then we're gonna start wrapping up. Usually, just to give you a heads up, what I do is I usually end the stream by playing like a quick game with you. It's really not hard. You just have to say thumbs up or thumbs down to something. Like I might be like, it has nothing to do with tech. Like I might be like, do you like pineapple on pizza or something like that? But before we do the game, I'm just going to remind people about Hacktoberfest that's going on. I'll play you a video to give you all the details. Cool. So there's 6 days left for Hacktoberfest. So get y'all's issues, your pull requests in. There's still a ton of issues open. But we also have a leaderboard of people doing really, really well. They've had a lot of pull requests coming in, and I'm excited to see who wins in the end. Okay, so Jeffrey, let's play the game. All right, it's only 3 questions. The first question, thumbs up or thumbs down, and the audience can play along too if you want to put an emoji in the chat. But the first one is daylight. This is not things I believe. Just going to put this out there. But daylight savings time should be abolished. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
100%.
100%. And do you want to expand that all?
Well, I was, it was implemented, for reasons that aren't really relevant today, and it doesn't, there's only so many hours in a day, so of sunlight, we don't really need to shift them. And here in the north, like here in Vancouver, we kind of dread that shift because it's already starting to get dark early in the day, and when that comes, it's it's like 4 p.m. and it's dark outside, and yeah, so
Yeah, I
all
agree
for
with
that.
you. Well, me too. I live in Boston. As soon as in the summer, I'm way more productive. But once it's like winter time, 4 p.m., like you're not getting me to do nothing. All right.
Yeah.
Next statement. Listening to an audiobook is the same as reading. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down. I enjoy both. I think audiobooks are great because you can, on the go in the car, you can kind of access more content. But there is that, like, you just capture a lot more and retain a lot more, I feel like, by reading, and just the fact that you can slow down, you can reread something. Yeah. So both have advantages and disadvantages, but not the same.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's super fair, especially because I think when you read a real book, you get to kind of discover new words better. I don't know if that makes sense, but like that. I
Yeah.
remember when I was little, I'd be like, "There's this big word, I don't know it," but yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, that's a good point too. Yeah, and spelling too, probably. So
Yeah, spelling too. All right, and then last statement: thumbs up or thumbs down. Speed limits are really just suggestions.
to a degree, I'd say. Yeah, I think there are certain places where they're probably appropriate. And yeah, it's an interesting world out there. Now, now we have more and more cars that are just going to drive themselves. So speed limits, how does that work in an autonomous world? It's going to be interesting. Yeah, who decides what? Is it still the speed limit, or is it the capabilities of the car? Or, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
That's true. I'm kind of scared of autonomous cars right now. I'll stick with like autonomous like AI developer tools for now, just for now. But that's
Yeah.
a good point. All right. And then that's really the end of this live stream for me. I just want to give you a moment to, like, if you had anything to say or plug, like you want, I'll remind people as well. reroam.xyz is the website if you wanted to check it out. Is there any other things that people could check out? Maybe you have like a public speaking appearance or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I would definitely drive people to the website, and or just go in any of the app stores and search for Roam Wi-Fi, and download our app and give it a try. So as soon as you download it, you can feel what it's like to create the DID, get inside, and then see what Wi-Fi and hotspots are around you. And if I highly encourage you, if you're interested, to go in and add some new hotspots. Check out our website. Our miner is available here. This is the latest generation of our miner. This one. This is actually the basically the beta V1 version of the miner.
Cool.
So yeah. Thanks everybody. Thanks for the stream today. And
Awesome. Yeah, sorry, no, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
oh yeah, no, that's it. So yeah, check out the website. That'd be great. Thanks.
Cool. That's so cool. And to see your minors as well. That was a cool thing to see. Thank you so much for hopping on the stream with us and explaining. I love to see like different interesting use cases of like DIDs and VCs that people haven't thought about, or at least that I haven't thought about, but other companies have. And thank you so much also to the audience or people in the audience for asking great questions as always and always tuning in. I'll see you all next Friday for our next stream. And thank you again, Jeff, for taking the time to chat with us. All right, y'all. Have a great Friday. Bye.
Yep.